40 and 20 here, bringing you 40 and 20's very first, our inaugural, as it were, watch review. The guys from Nodus, Wes and Cullen, sent us a copy of this Nodus Skin Diver a few weeks ago. Some kind of fun story why they sent it to us. We did an episode on skin divers. This has been a number of months ago. In fact, I think it was one of our single-digit episodes, so maybe episode 8 on skin divers. And at the time, we talked about what a skin diver is, what skin diving is, and how these watches have kind of disappeared. They're perhaps not in favor, or have not been in favor for a period of time, and we lamented that fact. It actually doesn't make a ton of sense based on the way people are collecting watches. So a number of years ago, microbrands were really hitting dive watches hard, and I think a dive watch is still probably the most desirable microbrand watch. But what happens is we get sort of diminishing returns in terms of the specs. What spec am I looking for in my dive watch? And there are multiple watches with 1,000 plus water resistance, 1,000 plus meters of water resistance, and they wind up being very thick, very chunky, very tool watches. I think by and large, the way most of us wear watches, that doesn't make a ton of sense. When I wear a dive watch, I want a sporty, high water resistance watch for jumping in the swimming pool, perhaps, or getting in and out of the shower. I don't need a watch capable of taking me to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. And that's perhaps because I don't go there all that often, because you would die. Yeah, that's right, you would die. So, what's a skin diver? A skin diver is a lighter purpose, everyday watch that's intended to be used for skin diving. So skin diving is, I think today we'd call it snorkeling, or perhaps even just swimming. Perhaps even just swimming in the ocean. But skin diving is an application where you need a watch that has some water resistance, but you don't need to go to the Mariana Trench. So usually lower water resistance, usually smaller, a little less tool looks. You want a skin diver to be able to take you from the beach, from the ocean, to perhaps dinner, where maybe you're wearing a linen shirt and jacket. Hard to find skin divers. There are a number of them out there, and we talked about some on the show. But when Wes and Cullen heard that, and they've talked about this when they came. They talked about this when they came on the show a couple weeks ago. They thought, yeah, these guys are right. There's maybe a dearth of skin divers. So, bless their hearts, they guys made us a skin diver. They didn't make it for us, obviously. They made it for you. This is the Nodus Sector Skin Diver. This is a 150-meter dive watch that's part of their new Sector series. The Sector series is going to be a 4-watch series. There's this. There's the Sector Field, which was released alongside of this. In 2020, they're also going to release a pilot watch and a dress watch. So the idea is that it'll be a full, complete collection is the term they use. You could buy nothing but Sector watches and have a complete collection. Now, I think for most of us, that's probably impractical. However, that could work for someone. What to say about this watch? $425, guys. Fantastic price on this thing. Fantastic price. And what you get for that is NH35 movement. Beautiful 316L 38 millimeter case. If you can see, if I can grab this, that bezel sticks out bezel sticks out just a tiny bit from the case. So 39 millimeters with the bezel. A fantastic, I think this is a 7.5 millimeter crown, screw down crown. And the action on this is phenomenal. Let's see if I can get closer to this guy. Look at the machining and the knurling on that crown. Deep engraving, signed crown. Gosh, look at this thing. Double dome sapphire, DLC coated bezel with a phenomenal click. 150 meters of water resistance, beautiful H-link bracelet, solid end links, BGW 9 lume. So moving around this watch, what do we have here? This is the sector part of this watch here. This is a Nodus's interpretation of a sector dial. A sector dial being a dial with concentric rings, minutes, hours in concentric rings, and then sort of an open area in the center. You can see that here. My umbrellas are a little tricky, and I'll work on that as I move through these. Hopefully I'll also have some macro shots as we move through here. But you can see this is a modern interpretation of what I think tends to be normally pretty stodgy application. I'm not a huge fan of a sector dial, but the way they've done this, I have zero complaints. It's actually just phenomenal. So NH35 movement, like I said, no secrets there. Nice and tight. Little tiny date in that date window. You know, some folks are complaining about the size of the date. Actually, I think it's perfect, and I think it works really well. They were able to maintain the symmetry of that dial, poke that little date window, matching date panel. Perfect. Love it. Like I said, DLC coated loom or bezel. Fantastic click. Big giant loom pip up at the top. Some folks aren't going to love the stealth markings on the bezel. Man, I'm into it. I think that's perfect. For this application, you're not wearing this to 200 meters, to the Mariana Trench, as it were. And practically speaking, you're probably not using this for a pressurized dive. You're wearing this to the beach, you're wearing this to scuba dive, or to snorkel, and you're wearing it to dinner. I think that's fantastic. It's classy. It looks hot. So, next, the case. The finishing on the case. This is where this watch shines for $425. Look at this. Look at that brushing. Wonderful mirror polish on the bevels. Fantastic transitions. Fantastic transitions. Fairly long lugs. I think we have a 48 millimeter lug to lug on this guy, 47 millimeter lug to lug, 13 millimeters thick. It wears more compact than that would suggest. Seven and a quarters is my wrist measurement, approximately. No issues there. Lugs curve around. I think we're going to call these semi-twisted lugs. You can see we've got polish, brushed, polished, and that looks fantastic. I'll try to get you a macro shot that hopefully is on the screen right now. As I said, solid end links on that H-link bracelet. I could open this up, but I'm probably not going to. Beautiful, beautiful, deep engraved case back. I've still got the sticker on there because it's not my watch. The 4 rings representing the 4 watches of the Sector series. Fantastic solid end links. Some folks have lamented the transition from the end links to the watch. We did talk to the guys on the show about this. I think it's really well done, and I have no complaints about it at all. But something to note, this is not a flush fit end link. It doesn't fit flush on the bottom, nor does it fit flush on the top. This is actually an extension of the watch by way of these designed, styled, twisted lugs. So I'm into it, guys, but it's something to note. You might want a smoother transition than that. I don't know. That's up to you. What else do we have? Bracelet, obviously. Dude, this guy is killer. The links are true screw links. Sizing this thing takes almost zero time. Extremely comfortable. That lug, solid end link, lug connection, straight down, keeps it nice and short. And this clasp, guys, best in class, I think. At under $500, I haven't seen anything as good as this. I haven't seen anything as good as this at $500. Action on it is phenomenal. totally secure. So you guys, that's it. Put this back on so you can see what it looks like. Again, I've got about a 7¼ inch wrist. Totally great, guys. Check them out, noduswatches.com. And that's it. 40 and 20. We got stickers. Still got stickers. $5. Hit me up on Instagram. I'll get you one. Thanks for joining us, guys. Talk to you next time.